listening to Steroids, a tumbling silver podcast. Proud member of the Star Wars Commonwealth.
Wish I wasn't so strong, no. I wish my words, they wouldn't be confused. I kinda miss a part of me was wrong. I'm counting down the minutes, splitting seconds. Forget the hours and destination. The time is now, the time to get to living. Forget the past, accept the giving.
Alright, guys, welcome back. It's Sith Disturbers. We haven't done this in a while. And we seem to have lost James again. But Corey, say hi.
Hi.
Sitting in the other, it's not the wingback chair.
It's the big boy chair.
Sitting shotgun for James this week is none other than fellow knight of the Star Wars Commonwealth. It's Carlos.
Hey.
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Yeah. James kept this chair nice and warm for me. I like it. It's getting comfy. Don't take too much time coming back, James.
Oh, you've got time, man. You've got another... What? Oh, actually, you know what? James is back in just a couple days. He's back on the 10th.
He might have to get a new chair.
He's got a lot of trees around him. He can chop down a few and whittle himself a chair or a bench.
I was gonna use that. I was gonna use that exact word, whittle. Like that's something someone from the Lord of the Rings would do. Just whittle a chair.
Yeah, you whittle yourself a pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Someone would
just take it up a notch and whittle yourself a chair.
Yeah.
And he's a wee man, so
it's the beard, man.
All right, so Carlos, fill the good people in on some of the projects you've got going on right now. You're a very busy guy.
Yeah, I'm busy. Well, let's see. Where do I start? CarlosCandidoMusic.com. That's my website. That's where the hub of everything I do regarding music is located. I also have multiple podcasts, including, but not limited to, Thinking Out Loud and Balls Off the Bar, which is a soccer-themed podcast. And I'm still working on production for the Habs Breakdown, which is pretty much exactly what the title says. It's Habs Breakdown. Very hockey-centric. And what else?
See, I like what you did with the title, because with the Habs being so frustrating, not only do you break down the game, but you have a nervous breakdown as you do it.
But that's exactly what it's supposed to. People are supposed to think that as the secondary meaning, but it's actually the primary meaning of the breakdown. It's like, oh, why did he do this, and why is he starting, and why is he not playing, and yeah. So it's the whole breakdown of what it is to be a Habs fan.
What about the Balls Off the Bar podcast? I hope that's not a double entendre.
No, it's
because I have to say, like, every time I think of that, and knowing you, I'm like, dude, is someone teabagging a bar somewhere?
What? Is that even... Oh, okay.
Well, it's the in soccer parlance, a ball off the bar is obviously, you're talking about hitting the post.
Yeah, I get that, but knowing you, like, I thought it was play on words.
I'll be honest, there is an actual story behind that, and I was at Champs Bar quite a few tournaments ago, where my team scored, and I jumped. I was sitting at the bar, I jumped up, and I kind of went over the railing and landed straight with my nuts right on the bar.
There you go.
So it was always, I always thought about that, and I always thought it would be a great title. And
was that the night you decided to sing a cappella?
Yeah, I went from tenor to soprano that night. So, yeah.
Oh man, that's rough, man.
Yeah, so that's it. It sounds a lot busier than what it is right now. I'm doing a lot of pre-prod. for an upcoming album. And,
yes, that's what the people want to know. You got a lot of fans here throughout the network now, Carlos.
That's true. Everyone loves the outro.
I noticed. Yeah,
it's catchy, man. I catch myself singing it. Self-fulfilling prophecy. So good.
No.
You okay there? Yeah. Sounded like you were choking on something. No, but I really appreciate all the kind words people have been giving me about my music, and it's such a personal thing. It's hard to accept compliments, and I don't know how good it is and how good I think it is compared to what other people think. So it's really cool, and the support has been.
You put that imposter syndrome away, sir. You put that away.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Like I am cocky, and I believe I do good things, but I also know that what goes on in my own mind is not what is in the average listener's mind. So you have to put yourself into their shoes when they're listening. And it's like when you're talking about your children. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, definitely. It's hard to separate yourself from the creation from the people it's intended for.
Yeah,
and also, if you have enough people, you're never going to be able to please everybody. So just do what you need to do.
Exactly. Like I'll be honest. If it made an EP, it's one of 3 songs. It's because I thought it was good enough to be on an EP. So I do understand that there is some qualities there, but to have the support. And I'm gonna say it's a constant support. I mean, it really does mean a lot. So it's pretty cool.
And you've picked up enough fans over in the UK that you could probably do a little mini tour over there.
Oh yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it. Just go there with my acoustic guitar and just hit some pubs. It'd be great.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
dude, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'd love it.
So I thought it would be interesting to give people a very, very quick background on how you and I know each other. Sure. So I mentioned, anyway, that entered my mind as we were recording episode 65 the other day. And I mentioned to Rob Cast how we were talking about podcasting in general. And the impetus, I guess, for me, the genesis of it all was Twitter, and then blogging, expanding on Twitter. And then from there, gaining some respect, I guess, from other people. And then eventually you and I, not necessarily at the same time, but we were doing local AM sports radio.
That's right, yeah.
With our friends over at the franchise radio show.
Yeah.
And that was a thrill. Like being on that side of the mic in a studio was super cool for me.
Yeah.
And fast forward year, I mean, you and I had been connected through sports Twitter, hockey Twitter.
That's right.
And and then once I fired up the Star Wars Tumbling Saber thing, you followed me right over here. I was like, Carlos, all this time you love Star Wars and geekdom, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, there's some things you have to keep secret. You don't have to let everyone into every door.
I guess not, but some doors just beg to be kicked down.
You know what? Let's, to be honest, if you hadn't started Tumbling Saber, we probably would have known about the Star Wars love through Twitter, because I mean, I love that movie, and it was
well, it would have come out.
It would have come out
during
eventually.
the lead up to The Force Awakens. It would have come out at some point.
Yeah, for sure. So I just think it was a happy coincidence that you started that the Tumbling Saber, and I was right on board right away. I loved it. So
yeah, man, thanks. It's
I'm happy to be sitting here.
Hey, glad to have a fellow knight of the Commonwealth aboard.
I never had a ceremony. Like, you guys have been doing these ceremonies, knighting guys. And I know on the last episode, Stubaka got knighted, and congratulations, Stewie. But I never got a... I never got one? I never got a knighthood.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
wow,
I never got a...
What a burn. Again, negligence on the host's part.
No, it's okay. I mean, look, my song's playing at the end of every podcast for the last 50 episodes, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to loophole it and say that, it was a given. It's a given, Carlos.
No,
Well, when you think about it, you were already on the TSW roundtable, and that's reserved
true.
for Knights of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I know. I didn't bring it up then, but I was like, hey, I never got a ceremony. Like, I don't need a ceremony.
Shit.
I'm not a child.
No, we'll trump it up here, man.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh man, hey, you know what? We've all been shedding a little bit of a tear over the last few weeks over the Clone Wars and how it was supposed to be removed from Netflix as of March 7th, and here we are, March 7th, and it's still there.
Yeah, my kids were watching it today.
Yeah, that's you're bringing them up right.
Well, I don't tell them which episodes to watch, and I think they didn't even get to like season 3 or 4 yet. They just keep watching the same episodes over and over, and they just like it. So who am I to get in the way?
Well, it's funny, right? Like you and I, the three of us here, we all had the same entry point into Star Wars in the 80s, and it was the original trilogy. That's all there really was, unless you got sucked in through the holiday special somehow, or no, or the Droids cartoon, or the Ewoks cartoon, or the Caravan of Courage, that type of stuff, which I think is very doubtful. But kids now, they have entry points all over the place, whether it's Clone Wars, or the comics, or Rebels, or video games. It's a different world now.
Yeah, it is. I would say it's cool because there's no real, they're not going to suffer from nostalgia the way we did. Where
we do.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that, but I mean, if you look at post 83 and post the Return of the Jedi, there was nothing. There was a dream and a hope of episodes that were in George Lucas's mind, and but it was the majority of Star Wars was in our imagination, and now
very much so.
Yeah, and now what the kids have these days is people have watched the movie sequentially. Like, I don't get that. That's like, I started at episode 1 and I moved all the way through, and it's like, I think when we did the roundtable, I think that's what Ash had said, that her first Star Wars movie was The Phantom Menace, and I was like, oh,
wow,
I couldn't put myself in her shoes at that point, because
a totally different experience.
Yeah, completely different.
And kids who are now 7 years old today, fast forward 10 years from now, when they start hopping on Twitter, they'll be talking about how The Force Awakens
and Rogue
was their entry point into Star Wars.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they'll say crazy things like, yeah, I get that The Force Awakens and A New Hope are the same, but shit, A New Hope is boring.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then you'll want to just, you little just trash that kid.
See, I wanted to jump into the podcast today and just like give my 2 cents about how I said that I would love for them to redo the original trilogy. And then you guys were talking about how I think it was Robert Cast who made the point of the starship, the Star Destroyer coming in through the top of the screen. And I wouldn't change those things about the movie, like the iconic shots or the iconic sounds like the TIE Fighter. Like, I wouldn't want to change those things. It would be more of the dialogue and the maybe the pacing, as opposed to more of the visuals. I think that it would do it some good. But then at that point you'd be stuck redoing 6 movies, because if anything needs to be freshened up a little bit and tidied up, I would say is more of a more appropriate word. It's the prequels. So it's hard. It's hard to, when you have all these thoughts going through your mind.
And it's also a bit of a slippery slope.
Yeah, exactly.
You get into that, and you risk alienating a bunch of people, and you're wondering you're wondering what the payoff is.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, you guys were talking about the Tauntaun today, and on this week's episode, and it's like, yeah, man, that thing.
It's terrible.
It needs to be redone.
that exactly. Yeah. I would not mind if they went and fixed things like that. Replace that Tauntaun. You've done it before. I mean, you went and inserted Jabba and then replaced Jabba when you realized how crappy he was. And in the prequels, they had younger puppet Yoda. which they replaced with CG normal-looking Yoda.
Yeah.
So it's not beyond them to go in and fix those things. And part of me even wonders if they leave things like that in on purpose so that they have a reason to go back, tinker with it again 10, 15, 20, 25 years down the line, and have a reason to tinker.
Maybe that was Lucas's downfall in a way of not thinking enough about having it being finished when it's done. Like, I don't see Disney doing that same mistake. I don't see Disney going back and touching up something in The Force Awakens or in Rogue One. For me, visually, they're perfect. There's nothing that I would want to see different. So it's hard. It's hard to pinpoint exactly, but it's like a song or like one of your children. You love them anyways.
Yeah. Well, there's a technology aspect there that's obviously the big gap in what you guys are saying. Like, like Carlos saying, I wouldn't change anything in Rogue One or The Force Awakens because like they're there. Like everything visually is stunning, but I get you, the Tauntaun, even though it's super iconic.
Oh Jesus!
The Sarlacc pit.
Please don't.
No, I know what you mean. Like I didn't like what they did with the Sarlacc pit, especially in the special editions. But whatever. I guess
don't know why they call
them
them special editions because there's nothing really special about them. I'll be honestly, it's pretty. I mean, except for let's say the continuity of Tatooine in episode 4, made it look more like something you would have seen during Little Annie's time on Tatooine. But like besides that, I don't see. And made the explosion of the Death Star or Alderaan, got a little bit more beefy as opposed to looking like a firecracker. But besides that, I don't see much benefit. Well, you could say, now that like Bespin, when you're looking at the Cloud City and the windows, like that, it makes a bit of a difference.
Yeah, that's it. The way they opened up certain environments digitally, whereas before they seemed very closed, and you knew you were on a tiny little movie set where they couldn't pan up too high because you'd see the scaffolding.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Like, but I love the charm of the white hallways. And I think we've spoken about this before. I still have the VHS original trilogy, and I don't have a VHS player.
I've still got mine.
That would be something I'd have to like invest in, but I would just love to go back and watch that again, and
for sure.
Yeah,
I always talk about watching on
I'll have a VHS party here one day.
I'm down.
All right, sounds good. I'll bring the copies. I don't know if you probably have your own copies of the originals.
Oh yeah, I've got the original trilogy on VHS twice.
In the different special packaging and.
Yeah, well. Oh.
I got you one of those. I should have never.
Yeah, you did.
Just out of the blue colors, just because I'm a good brother. I saw my buddy.
They're on that shelf way back. We're on video right here. Nobody else can see this, but they're way back here on this shelf behind me.
They're beauties, man.
I think I
can't see them, but they're there.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll just go grab them. Corey, you guys talk.
All right.
Yeah, no, I got mine, the original ones. I got them from Columbia House.
Oh, no way.
Individually from Columbia House, and so it didn't come in a box set or anything like that. They were it's special. It's special to.
Man, you want to hear a wicked Columbia House story? Just on a quick side tangent.
I love tangents.
When my brother, when I was about 12 or 13, Kyle was probably about 15 or 16. We're like, okay, we're signing up for Columbia House, and we do it one summer. Like, we didn't really tell our parents. We sent away, and we actually got the 7 CDs, and I was like freaking out. I'm like, for real? Like it happened. This is for real. I gave 1 penny, I got 7. Anyhow, like 3 years later, my contract's up, and I'm 16 years old now. And it just so happens in secondary 5 out here, or grade 11, you take economics. And probably about a week before, I got a phone call. My economics teacher's like, yeah, like explaining like laws like that and saying, if you sign a contract like that prior to the age of, I think, 16, without
it's null and void.
And they called me out. They're like, yeah, you need to pay. And I was like, Really? It's like, we'll hear from you soon. Like,
So here it is.
Yeah, that's the box
The
set.
one last time box set for
Yeah.
the viewers at home who can't see the video. And this is the set that Corey bought me. These are from 92. So there's this.
Man, that's the one.
There's that one.
Yeah,
and each
those-
of these, they have minor differences between each.
that's
But yeah, there it is.
1992? I thought that was like
Yep.
80 something.
Nope, these ones are the 92.
Wow.
Those are the
I
ones
think.
I have.
No, those are like 80 something, Kyle.
Well, I'm looking at the back of the box, so you tell me what number this is. 1992.
I think it's 1992. But yeah, those are the ones I have. So I got those from Columbia House.
And each one has minor differences in color and dialogue and this and that.
I love the cover art for those ones, though. They always stuck with me. They resonate with me even today still, you know?
Yeah, it's classic. I have the T-shirt, the one, my Star Wars T-shirt that I wore at when I went to watch Rogue One. It's actually the cover for Episode 4, the one that Kyle's holding, the original poster.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, guys. Have you guys heard what Netflix is planning? Allegedly.
I have a lot of Netflix news, but I don't know what you're talking about specifically.
No.
So there's a report from the Daily Mail, so you can take this with a grain of salt as large as you'd like. But they're planning to do some sort of it's basically a choose your own adventure, where they'll film, and they're starting it with, I think they're testing it with a few kids shows, but then if it works, if it proves successful, they'll ramp that up into their adult programming.
That
And
is
the way it will work,
super
essentially.
interesting.
Yeah. The way it'll work is that they'll when they shoot a TV show or a movie, they'll shoot different offshoots of different plot lines. And then as you go through watching the show via your remote, you'll be able to choose which plot line you want the direction to take.
So like the old, they tried doing that with DVDs back in the day, with the different camera angles and different plot lines. They wanted DVDs to be way more interactive.
I think you're talking about porn, Carlos.
Either way, it was on DVDs. And I used to work at a video store, and that was all the talk about how DVD was going to change the way you watched home movies. And it all went by the wayside because of the production costs. But Netflix has huge money coming in every month. So it sounds really interesting. And if anybody could do it, I think it's them.
Yeah, I mean that's the next step. But I was wondering, this is what Star Wars fans need. For all the people, whatever that divide is between people who like the special editions and the people who want the original trilogy as it is, you can now have that. And just do something similar where you can watch the movie, and by default, let's just say it's set to the canon version of the special editions, but you can toggle, or they come to a fork in the road at a plot point in the movie, and you can watch, let's say in Docking Bay 94. You can cut to the Jabba part, or you can cut to the old version where you don't have it, or just leave certain things out entirely. That's what Star Wars fans need. That will save fandom.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because as soon as you give options, and if you give 3 or 4 options, you're gonna have guys like like you guys and the guys from the other shows. But how come they didn't put in that scene? And how come they didn't give us this choice? Why didn't they just leave it alone?
They can never. Yeah, they'll never make everybody
nobody's
happy.
going to be 100% happy. But I see what you're saying, and it is interesting.
I thought that was fascinating. That was like a whoa moment. You're doing choose your own adventure television programming. That is awesome.
That is
so you can
really
watch the same stupid episode of House of Cards and have it end 3 or 4 different ways.
Yeah, but there's a rabbit hole there. Like how far do you go? You know.
But it still could be revolutionary. Like I can't believe this hasn't been
absolutely.
done before.
Well, when you think about it, depending on how, like, if you do 2 plot lines, you'd have to film essentially the same episode twice. You'd have to film everything. Every episode would have to be done twice just to make sure you're covered with footage.
Or the acting quality is going to be really poor because they're just doing one take.
Well, you know, they're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. That's one thing Netflix is. They're killing the game right now. I mean, when
Crushing
seriously, when you think about the children's shows or ideas like this, or even comedy specials, they're going after now the 30-minute market for comedy specials, and you know, they're opening the doors to a lot more comedians. It's really going to become a platform to launch people's careers. It's great. They have 95 million subscribers.
Crazy. That's a crazy
$10
number.
a month. It's crazy. You're talking about $1 billion a month almost in revenue. And
nuts.
yeah, but they can do whatever they want as long as the price stays reasonable and they're pushing the envelope and forcing television service providers to offer either better programming or reduce the costs, because they're gonna lose.
The squeeze is on. The squeeze is totally on.
Networks are struggling with that because basically Netflix can do what they want in a show. You know, you can have the nudity, you can have the action, the swearing. Like network TV has they can't really get that past the censors, right?
Well, Netflix took HBO and pumped it full of steroids. You know, so
yum.
because HBO has great programming. I don't know how many HBO has 2 channels, I think, right? 2 feeds.
Yeah.
Or is it still the 1 feed?
No, there's 2.
There's 2. So what HBO does on 2 feeds, Netflix is doing on almost an indefinite scale. There's no... You can go on so many different tangents, and whereas when you're on Netflix, when you're on HBO, you're still stuck on their programming. And the good thing for HBO is that they have amazing programming. So, you know, it's you're not losing a battle against, let's say, network sitcoms or dramas.
Yeah.
But the choice and the liberty of Netflix is just, this is sounding like a commercial for Netflix right now, and I'm not sponsored by them. So we should probably back off their balls a bit. But I'm a true fan. I love them, and
they've become ubiquitous in my house. That's for sure. I was watching Paw Patrol before, man.
I love it.
Kids dig the Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
You want to hear another quick funny tangent? What?
Nope, we don't have time. We gotta move.
All right.
Let's talk about some would you rathers.
I got a good one because it kind of segues right from what we were kind of talking about.
Do it.
All right, man. I'm switching it up a bit this week. It's a would you rather, but it's more like a this, that, or the other. Okay, so with the announcement of the 40th anniversary is coming and whatnot, and we heard this announcement that they were going to be redoing the original trilogy somehow. They're going to be.
It was a rumor. It wasn't an announcement. It was a rumor.
Okay, granted.
We're responsible if nothing else on this show.
Granted. Okay, that's a good catch. But yeah,
hold yourselves to that, okay? If anybody's going to be responsible, it's you two. I'm the irresponsible one.
No, it's Kyle. It's all on Kyle. But
the negligent host. Yeah, okay.
Good luck. But anyway, it spread like wildfire, so it just kind of got me thinking. So I thought this a while ago. I think I know what you guys are going to say, but it's kind of interesting. We were just kind of talking about it. So this, that, or the other. They're redoing the trilogy, or not. They'll redo A New Hope first, and they're only changing one scene in the entire movie, and it's going to be in the air between the Jabba scene, just revamping it and leaving that in the movie, or taking it back to Han shooting first. What do you guys want to... You get one or the other.
No, it's easy. It's Han shoots first.
Yeah, Han shoots first.
Wow, I went the other way around. I thought you guys for sure were going to say fix the Jabba scene. Just just erase it?
No, fix what you broke when you redid it and didn't make Han shoot first.
Oh, you know what?
That's-
I had the other option too. There's this, that, or the other. The other one was just leave it alone and leave it as it is right now and just don't change anything. But if you have a
No,
chance,
Han shoots first.
cool. Wow, good for you guys. I want to see that too.
You know what I want to see. The biggest thing I want fixed in, quote unquote, fixed in A New Hope is I would like them to digitally enhance the battle between Vader and Obi-Wan.
Oh,
Take out some of the shots where they're both moving like stiff cardboard cutouts and insert faraway shots. I don't care. Do what you need to do. But just to loosen those two guys up. Dave Prowse couldn't move, and Alec Guinness couldn't move.
Yeah, and that ugly shot of Obi-Wan stepping back and twirling the lightsaber around, and you could tell it's like, oh, there's light. Oh, and there's a plastic tube. Oh, and there's light.
Bad rotoscoping there.
Oh.
Fix that. There's no reason why that should not have been fixed.
What's
That's my number one. I want that fixed.
you know what's a bad scene for me lightsaber wise too? I think it's Christopher Lee, right? Count Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Anakin in Attack of the Clones, like they're going at it, and it's just like it's a close up on both their faces, and all you see is like lights going by their faces. You know, like, it's like ha ha, like.
Christopher Lee was 80 years old, man.
I know.
What do you want
I
to do?
think that's an artistic choice.
I think it
Yeah,
had
that's
to play
establish mood,
really, because
tone. Yeah, I think that's done on purpose.
that took me right out of the mood.
Because remember, if you go back 3 years earlier, when you have the Duel of the Fates, people were saying, "Oh my God, it became the Matrix. It's karate. It's it's not Star Wars anymore." And people complained about how that was too far. So I think it was a concerted effort to kind of bring it back a little bit and make it a little bit more realistic as a duel.
And then they brought in Yoda to flip
and then
around.
comes Yoda, exactly. It's like, oh, terrible.
Oh man. Okay, Carlos, what's your would you rather?
Okay, so my would you rather has to do with it's a Star Wars related. So would you rather have George Lucas's head and beard and double chin on a really, really, really skinny fit body? Or would you rather have your own head but be like blubbery like Jabba?
Oh my god.
Oh wow!
And I'm not allowed to. We got to cut Corey off because that's there's lots of loopholes waiting to happen.
No. You're not allowed shaving the beard. You have to keep the George Lucas gray beard with double chin.
It can't work out.
And you can't. And yeah, there's a loophole Corey's looking for to diet and exercise.
Yeah, that won't work though. That's Jabba. I mean, I've never seen a Hutt who didn't eat Pizza Hut.
I'll take the beard.
But you gotta look like you have George Lucas's face and head on your shoulders.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. I'll just put myself into a digitally enhanced scene.
I love
That was pretty good, actually.
We're gonna put that on the shelf.
Yeah.
We'll go back and fix it later if I have to.
Who cares about the acting? We'll just, as long as it looks good.
Faster, more intense.
What about you, Corey?
Oh man, that's like, jeez, you're definitely taking the place of James here. My choices again are what? It's George Lucas's head on my body or my head on a Hutt?
On Jabba's body.
Yeah, I gotta kind of stay human.
I can't even believe you're thinking about this.
You know why? Because I put on a bit of weight over the holidays. And
Well, who among us didn't?
and I have a bit of a back injury, so I haven't been able to like do any type of exercise. So it's like, wow, I'm kind of looking like Jabba. And then I looked at my beard, and I'm like, if this was white and I looked like George, I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's really worse, you know?
You're basically just
So
like,
for me-
I'm disgusting.
Yeah, pretty much. This is it's a question that rises from self-loathing.
Did you take part in any like Bill Burr style fat shaming?
You know, how about a little, hey, fatty cakes, you know? You really gonna have waffles again this morning?
Not yet. It's not working. You know what the problem is? And this is going to sound really cocky. I love the way I love my face. So
I think the word you're looking for is vain.
yes. So like obviously I would take Jabba's body, right? Because I would never be able to live with myself if I looked like George Lucas and I was like super fit. Because I told myself, yeah, George Lucas, whatever. When he was young, he was slim, right? So, but now he's kind of chubby. But even if he was still slim, would I want to have that head on my shoulders? So that's where this "Would You Rather" came from.
Listen to this. I'm gonna loophole this thing. Check this out.
You're not allowed.
No.
Lucas's head comes with his brain, hence all of Star Wars. So I'll be rich.
He's
very rich.
Get
Lucas
out
is
of
out.
here. Get out of here, you
Corey,
loophole.
Lucas is out. He's gone. It's Disney. Forget about Lucas. He's done.
Still be rich.
That's true. But you're not George Lucas, though. You're Corey with Lucas's head on your shoulders.
Hey, money doesn't solve everything, because if you want that, you also get his anxiety disorder.
I wouldn't like that.
Because I was thinking, do I get Skywalker Ranch? But that's part of Disney now, right? Like that
I think
was
he
sold.
still. I don't know. I don't know if he sold that.
I was gonna do the research, but I thought, why make it interesting? Like why not make? Yeah, I'm not gonna do the I'm not gonna do the research. So let's just
We're not
open-ended
about legwork
questions.
here.
No. Open-ended
Especially on
questions.
Sith Disturbers.
Exactly.
Okay, Corey, you're up with your next Would You Rather.
All right, yeah. So okay, Kyle. Okay, it's this, that, or the other again. Which would you rather of these three? I know you don't want to hear this, so Kylo's gonna be redeemed by doing something. He's coming back to the light side, one way or the other. He pulls something out of his hat. He may even die. I don't know, but one way or another, he turns good before this is all over. It's option A. Option B. Would you rather Rey turns evil with him, and together they, they're both dark? Or option 3 is Luke, Rey, and Kylo die in attempt to eliminate evil.
Christ, that's dark.
Well, it's all in
What's
it's all in a way to kind of like, because you're so against Kylo's redemption that.
What's the first one again?
The first one would be Kylo redeems himself by some kind of glorious feat, like either again sacrificing himself or wanting to sacrifice himself and living. Who knows? Live or die.
I'm more against Rey turning dark than Kylo being redeemed.
Okay, that was basically.
No, I don't want Rey going dark.
But that was basically my question, because that's what I really, I guess, wanted to know from you is, out of those two, which...
No, Rey going dark, I have no interest in. I mean, I'll still watch it. It'll be great, but no, I don't want to see that. Come on, it's Rey. She's good. Rey is good.
Specifically, are we talking about episode 8 or the conclusion of the saga?
Yeah, let's leave it up to the whole saga.
Okay, that's different. Okay. Because we already know that
if she turns
Leia's
only
dead,
to come
right?
back, that's one thing. But yeah, to see her permanently turn to evil, nope, no interest. And I'm certainly not at all interested in Kylo. Well, that actually, your third option is just a tire fire. Luke, Rey, and Kylo all die to bring an end to evil. That's overkill on the melodrama.
Yeah, we've talked about it once on the pod before on the Tumbling Saber, where I was kind of speculating that maybe not in this trilogy again. Who knows if they're going to take it to the number 12, but to kind of balance the Force, maybe in the long run there will be no Force. Like, just one of them realizes, like, hey, like this is our chance to kind of let people decide what they want to do and put the Force to rest, almost.
Although I don't think you can put the Force to rest, but I think you can somehow put it in some sort of permanent state of
slumber,
neutrality. Yeah, maybe. Did Carlos answer?
Oh, I'm still. I'm hesitating because there's no real timeline on the question. So
yeah, okay. Let's say. I'll put it this way: like at one point, Rey can turn evil, but okay, maybe she'll come back.
No, you gotta be set in stone. You can't just change it on the fly like that. I was thinking, You're changing the parameters. You can't change the parameters.
Okay, let's leave it to episode. I don't want to do it. I don't want Kylo to redeem himself in episode 8. I want him to remain a bad guy till episode 9, and then be like, ugh.
No, so if that's the case, then I'm gonna choose the third option, and have Kylo, Luke, and Rey all die in the same battle.
On the same team? Or
No.
fight? Okay.
Were they on the same team? Is that part of the question?
No.
Well, what are you doing here, man?
You could decide. Like, all 3 characters could be on the same team, or
they're not on the same team.
They're fighting each other and kill each other just to get it over with.
No, they're not part of the same team, and they all end up dying from their wounds as a part of that battle. And there's no First Order, there's no Sith, there's no Jedi, and there's balance in the Force. And Finn is part of the new Galactic Republic as one of the senators.
The final Jedi, as Ryan Johnson would say.
I would love it. I would love it if Finn became a Jedi. Because
that'd be cool.
Because there's an awakening there. Like he didn't know how to use the controls on the TIE fighter, and then all of a sudden he's able to use a lightsaber. And if the awakening is happening around him, maybe he's more important to the next movies than we're led to believe. I would love to see him become a Jedi, because Han Solo told him the Force doesn't work like that, and kind of does.
I don't know. I can see what you're saying. Like, I would like to see Finn more like a, and I'd like to see more people, because they seem to be trending in this direction where they're going back on themselves and saying, okay, like, yes, everyone can use the Force, but certain people just have are more adept to that. So maybe there's people out there who can kind of use the Force. It just takes a lot more practice and training for them to. They'll again never reach Jedi level, but they're still using the Force, if you will.
You know, can we agree that Anakin and Luke are among the most powerful Jedi?
Definitely.
I think we can agree on that, right?
Of course.
We will have confirmation for sure on Luke in about 10 months from now.
Okay, but we know for a fact that Anakin.
Yeah, definitely. He was the chosen one.
He's the chosen one.
Trilogy.
Well, there's something that Finn says in the Force Awakens that, or not that he says, but it's the fact that he believes in it that, to me, makes me think that he's more worthy of being a Jedi than, let's say, Luke was on Dagobah, when he didn't believe that Yoda could lift the plane out with the Force. Like, you know what I mean? There's just something
100%.
about Finn.
There's something to be said for blind faith.
Yeah, you're more susceptible to something if you're.
No, you're more open.
Yeah,
you're more open to using the Force if you're believing in it. That was part of the lesson that Luke had to learn on Dagobah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, good stuff, guys. Jesus, we're killing this. So, Carlos, you got one more for us?
No, that's it. That's it. Corey trampled all over my Rey and Kylo. Would you rather? So I knew I should have gone with that one first. I was going for the comedy, and I should have gone strategically.
Fucking shit on a brick! God damn it!
God, that man looks really pissed.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
I got a comedic one to kind of end it if you want. It's not a mind bender or anything, but I kind of thought of it 2 weeks ago, or the last time we recorded Sith Disturbers.
You know what? You have trouble coming up with these, so let's park it for another time, and we'll move into our poll discussions.
That's true. I forgot about that, eh?
Yeah. Glad somebody's steering the ship here.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to get mine out of the way quickly. So I asked the Twitter machine, whose younger years would you most like to learn more about? Gave you 3 options: Palpatine, his counterpart in Yoda, or other. And some interesting answers coming out of that. And this poll flip-flopped, which I thought was really interesting. I bet at first, nobody was giving Yoda any love. and Palpatine and other were splitting the majority. In the end, with 29% was other, and we got some interesting stuff coming out of there. Carlos, you said both together in the same movie.
Yeah, like something like where you're getting like a split screen of flashbacks in the past and how Yoda learned of the Force and how he grew up versus Palpatine, where we have a bit more information on Palpatine and his upbringing with his family and the political world and all that stuff, and how they kind of fork off and how one decides to go to the light and the other decides to go to the dark.
It would be what am I trying to say? It'd be a very fascinating.
Yep.
Boy, I'm totally losing my words now. It's over. I'm done.
What is wrong with you?
No, but it would be. I mean, it's a great leap into looking at like how far they can actually take it. The worlds that they're visiting and
the juxtaposition. That's the
there
word.
You go. Beautiful.
I'm
Found
back,
it.
baby. So some other cool answers I got. Dave Donovan said the origin of the Force story, which I suspect we're going to get in The Last Jedi to some degree. At Joey Zhao on Twitter said Obi-Wan, as did our good friend Stephen Joey at Gioango Fett. Also said Obi-Wan. And Jeremy at Talk Star Wars, jokingly, I hope, said Jar Jar.
That was funny.
Can I just butt in here just for 1 second? I just saw a Star Wars theory about Jar Jar and how he was supposed to be he's the actual Phantom Menace, and how he's actually
we've heard this one.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, how far do you have to go? But then thinking about how George Lucas loves to write his stories, he always steals from other stories, and how the guy's name was Bink in another story that he read and changed it to Binks, and what jar means in Dutch, and there's this whole thing, and it's like a 40-minute theory on Jar Jar being the actual Sith Lord, and you could see him using Jedi mind tricks. His lips are moving. Yeah,
and only somebody with Force abilities could make that kind of jump into the lake. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. So I was, oh man, it's like, how far do people have to go? Just leave Jar Jar alone. Let him be a gesture in the streets.
Yeah, well, when we do the breakdown of Empire's End, there's a little epilogue in there that sums up Jar Jar's eventual fate. It's kind of sad. And finally, Lost Jawa on Twitter said, doesn't need a Yoda backstory, he's great as is, but he'd love to see the canon version of Palpatine's Sith apprenticeship, which is where I went with this story. So in the end...
What about me? Didn't I comment on this? Gee whiz.
No, there's no comment from you on this in this thread.
Didn't I say Shmi Skywalker?
Could have been in reply to somebody else, but you're not here. Sorry, man.
It's okay.
But you did. I do remember you said Shmi.
That'd be interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's not what I really want, but I thought it'd be interesting, so I want to throw it out there.
Well, it's an interesting option.
Yeah.
So in the end, 29% said other, 32% with Palpatine, and 39% say Yoda. And I am not on board with that at all.
With the comeback, Yoda. Can never count the little green guy out.
Huge come from behind victory. And taking it rather comfortably, 39% to 32%.
Yeah. Hey, if I was running for president, I'd take those numbers.
Fake news, man. Fake news.
It's all about the news.
All right, Corey. Let's do yours quickly, and then we'll wrap things up.
All right, mine was pretty simple. I did it close. Well, it was a while ago now. February 22nd, it went out. So, when will we see Sabine Wren in action again? Your options were the climax of season 3, sometime in season 4, in a comic and or novel, or a new animated series. So 7% went with the animated series, 10 with the comic, which is a bit surprising. I would have flip-flopped that number, but whatever, not much big of a difference there. 33 came in season 4, and 50% for the climax of season 3, which I guess I'm kind of on board with that. I would even maybe say season 4, but I'm really on the fence on that one, but kind of played into, I guess, what I was thinking about it.
I tend to agree. I don't think we're not going to see Sabine again this season. I'm okay, I think, if she camps out with the Mandalorians until season 4. I'd be okay if she didn't show up at the Battle of Lothal. But yeah, either or. If she's come back at the end of season 3, great. If it's season 4, great. But I don't want to wait for a comic or novel.
All right, how's this my next poll? You always want me to have them ready? I'm going to try and get it out there. Yeah, the timing will work before the end of Rebels season 3. Who is going to be the unexpected help that the rebellion gets? So we had mentioned.
I thought you already ran that poll.
No, we haven't. We got Radis.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that poll out there.
But we're going to throw some new options. We came up with the Hondo option, the Radis option. I even thought of a new one recently, possibly even Ahsoka's return, which I don't really think they'll do. They probably want to save that. But possibly Ahsoka, Maul, and Obi-Wan. And yeah, I think that's all we had on our list for the moment.
It is interesting. There's a lot of options. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, we'll get it out there before.
Carlos, what were your thoughts on Sabine? When is she going to be back?
I think I messaged Corey and asked him. I'll answer what you think is the right answer.
TIE Fighter.
No, I assumed that Corey thought that the right answer to the question was the end of season 3, so that's what I voted for.
Yeah, I figured most of fandom would go that direction.
I don't know. I have no opinion on the matter. That's why I asked Corey. I'm like, well, it's like, there's so much. Corey doesn't ask polls to know what people are thinking. He wants to know if other people think that he's right.
Yeah, I'm imposing my will.
Yeah, so hence why I asked before I put in my answer.
No, you didn't ask. You said TIE Fighter. That was your response.
No, and then somebody else said it, and then I'm like, damn, okay, TIE Fighter.
Man. It was classic though. I laughed. Yeah, I got it right now. I'm looking at the comments. You wrote right in TIE Fighter. All right, you got it, brother. I don't have to remind you anymore. It's classically iconic.
It is.
Oh, God. All right, guys. This was fun, but it's time to wrap things up. Carlos, man, thank you for pinch hitting for James on Sith Disturbers. It takes
pleasure.
a couple people to replace him, but glad that you were able to step in today.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. It was fun and easier. I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
I gotta say, Carlos, too, like, as soon as James was like, I'm going to Venice and whatnot. I'm like, okay, well, we have someone replacing him, whatever, for that show, and it's like right away, Candido?
Terrible. No, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was really good, and
we'll do it again for sure. Yeah. So tell people where they can find you on the old Twitter machine once again.
On the twits, you can find me at C Candido Music or at the TOL podcast, and from there you can find everything else I'm doing.
Yeah, you're on Facebook and Instagram like everybody else, right?
Yeah,
not a hard man to find.
No, it's just Google Carlos Candido and you'll find my website. It's right there at the top. So,
as you would hope.
Yeah.
All right, Corey, and where can people find you?
Come on, man. Chop rules with the Z.
Right, I forgot once again. Amazing how that keeps happening. And guys, don't forget to play the game that is sweeping Twitter Nation. It's #NameCorey'sBoat. Get your answers in. We need a name for this boat. So get to work, put your thinking caps on, and get that done. And you can find me at Tumbling Saber on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out StarWarsCommonwealth.com for all of the other great shows. Talk Star Wars, Gen X Wing, The Nerd Room, The Skyhoppers, and the Rogue Squadron podcasts. All great shows, great people, doing awesome work. And until episode 66 of the Tumbling Saber podcast, have a good weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Thank you for listening to the Sith Disturbers podcast, brought to you by the warped minds at the Tumbling Saber. proud member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Network. Visit StarWarsCommonwealth.com and take your first step into a larger world.
Sorry.